that is currently staying in the semifinals. In fact, going up against Stay Tuned later. And if you guys also watched the previous series, Stay Tuned was the one with Reminiscent, Jay, and Bento. And they are very seasoned players. So very excited to see how G4 will be able to hold their ground against Stay Tuned. However, on the other side, it is wow, there are two pairings going up in the semifinals, right? It's going to be Instinct Q, currently still waiting for No Mercy Esports and K-Des to kind of resolve there before they actually move into the semifinals, going up against Instinct Q. But of course, coming up next, we have the semifinals. It is going to be G4 going up against Stay Tuned. Oh yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the brackets. I was like, about to read the whole brackets out for you guys, but here's the graphical version of it, just in case. As well I mentioned, No Mercy Esports going up against KDES. Waiting for it to resolve before we go in and realize who will Instinct Cube going up against. I heard the draft already being made, so ladies and gentlemen, let's hop into the draft right on the go with G4 in the blue and Stay Tuned in the red. Well, technically speaking, G4 with first pick, Stay Tuned second pick. Don't forget, Stay Tuned. The world is their oyster. They can do anything they want. They can ban off anything they want. G4 will be banning away the Amon, which is kind of common these days, especially people are starting to identify Amon. It's a must ban. It's gonna be the next Paquito, right? It's gonna be everyone's banning Amon like the next Paquito, and because of that, Paquito may get leaked through. So that's something that we are definitely excited to see. Because remember the good old days, yeah, we don't really see a Paquito anymore. So that's kind of unfortunate. Stay Tuned will ban away the Nathan. Still currently going ahead and ban the Eve. G4 will ban the the Hayabusa first. I think they may actually first pick the Clint. If they first pick the Clint, or Ruby, it's like up to them whether they want to go for the flavor of the month or they could go straight for the Paquito. I got a feeling, Stay Tuned, they are so used to dealing with Paquitos, especially in the tournaments. Well, in MPLSG, they should have no issues handling this Paquito. However, they're gonna leak through like the Estes and even the YSS. I was thinking maybe they were just gonna first pick that Clint, but I guess they're not interested in going for it. So G4 will snap pick that Clint for themselves. And Methuda, if I'm not mistaken, the production team also highlighted that I think Flashed was like, what, number 8 Methuda? So, yeah, so G4 is definitely playing their comfort picks as compared to Stay Tuned. It's not say they don't have comfort picks, but more like they are experienced in order to pull off any sort of draft. But looking at this draft right now, I feel like G4 needs to find a way to either burst the Estes down or try to split them up. Stay Tuned will pick up the Reminiscent. Stay Tuned will pick up the Beatrix for themselves going up against that Clint, especially in the laning phase. It's kind of like a skill level matchup base, but if the burst doesn't land true, the Beatrix may not be able to get the burst damage. So Stay Tuned bans away the Ruby. I think they're kind of worried about, G4 could bring this Paquito to the jungler, so they're not going to rule that out just yet. Banning away the Ruby is more like, okay, if they pick up the Ruby, which is also like a prime pick, right, they will be definitely going to go for the offlaner. But G4 bans away the Yuzhong. So, ladies and gentlemen, what does that usually mean? That means we smell a Farsa coming up. Stay Tuned can snap pick the Farsa if they want, but ooh, Valentina just kind of... I think someone in the chat actually mentioned, oh, Valentina was banned, so not too sure about that. So maybe with production can actually help me double check on that, because Valentina is kind of viable. I think people are starting to identify them, but instead they're going to go for the Veil. Oh yes, Valentina ban. Thank you very much, Novus. Oops, called you out on stream. But in the same time, G4 will be picking up the Farsa for themselves because, Yuzhong is banned, they're super safe. They're hovering now the Landslot. The Landslot will be very nice, especially if you got a Veil and the Beatrix on the enemy side. They are kind of immobile, you can chase them down, the puncture, it's like what we always, like some of the Twitch streamers I know and I watch, they like to go shing ching ching and then they all die, that sort of idea. Yeah, so basically G4 hopes to shing Stay Tuned to death. I feel like Stay Tuned right now, they need to pick a offlaner. They got great success with the Lapu Lapu. I think that is nice.
Destiny
They've also got
is
great
an
success with,
old
well,
friend of
Esmeralda makes sense as well, but Esmeralda going up against a Mathilda will be absolutely great because the Mathilda provides so much shields, and in fact, if they're gonna bring the shield, the battle spell in as well, Bento will be in for a treat because there's a lot of shields to rip away from. You get to, you know, sustain and jump right on in, and don't forget you've got the Estus as well. That is a lot of sustain. Okay, you pack in for a fight. Now, Veil's positioning has to be careful though. I think Jay, as compared to positioning
Welcome
of,
to
well,
Mobile Legends!
an MPL player, I think Miku, I feel like they're comparable, but
Five
I feel like
seconds
Miku has the
till
better
victory reaches
positioning
the
as compared to Jay.
battlefield.
But Jay's
Smash them!
micro level in terms of the skill shot has been impeccable. You saw in when he was playing the Selena, he's just landing it on point. But ladies and gentlemen, hopping into game number 1 already. This is the semifinals. This is G4 in the blue going up against Stay Tuned in the red. Now, the game plan will be having to get Stay Tuned all the way to the mid game spike because G4 at the late game, if they don't play their cards right, G4 may actually win in terms of this Clint that's just hyper carrying everyone, right? So Stay Tuned has to be careful a little bit. But ooh, big damage already. Like, it's like what I said, positioning is very important. Don't forget, the Farsa does a lot of burst damage. Flicker already be used this early. Oh, Jay forced to flicker all the way out before the 1 minute mark. Creative doesn't really have the healing powers just yet, so good job to G4 being able to do that. And don't forget, this Veil, okay, at least the Veil is level 2. Had the Veil at level 1, that would be a very stunted Veil because this Farsa is going to hit level 3 even faster, and now they're rotating all the way up to the top side. Ooh, things are not looking good for our Beatrix player. Neptune will force the fly away for now, but here comes Farsa, will not be able to stun anyone right now. Neptune forced the flick and even the dash so that he could get out of harm's way. I like the aggressive plays coming off from G4, making sure Stay Tuned stays in line and stay, of course, in tune. Mountain Shocker will be already used very early on, Reminiscent activating it just to review, I believe, the positioning of that landslot because the bottom side, ooh, getting a little bit crowded over the bottom side. I think Stay Tuned is just going to mirror that right now. They're just going to try to focus down on taking down this turret because G4 will be at the turtle priority first as compared to Stay Tuned. So that's okay. At least Stay Tuned, because of the Mountain Shocker, that valuable information provided so much value to it because the Esmeralda Bento dodges all the way out, but here comes a puncture, the Thorn Rose going out at the same time. No ultimate to commit for that. It was just on cooldown, unfortunately, so there's no kill, so that's good for Jay for now. Stay tuned, still holding on in terms of the lead that they had. Not say they did a good job in the early game. I feel like they had to play a bit more safer because well, the first I was doing a lot of damage against Jay. Jay needs a level 4 in order to pop off, and there's so much outplay potential with the landslide. Landing down all the damage, but hold on a second, bottom side, a bit of a gang happening. Esmeralda will fall into the hands of this landslide and immediately rotates towards the jungle turtle. I don't think G4 is interested in getting the turtle at all. You can notice they don't really want to focus on that. They're pressuring on this lane because they're trying to win, in towards the mid game part of it. They're not really into looking at all this. In fact, Stay Tuned is just gonna go on in. Beta Crusher looking in low as well. Reminiscent just dashes all the way in, finishes him off, and also take down the turtle for good measure at the same time. Jay laying down the hurt for now, but the Mathilda will be able to get all the way out. Farsa did not activate the Feather Airstrike. I think it was not say cancelled, but it was like, taken away for now. Turtles not very much in the minds of Stay Tuned. G4 looking to scale, looking to bring Beta Crusher all the way up. Now Beta Crusher is at this unsafe lane for now. I think G4 needs to call for a lane swap because G4 is just focusing on Bento instead. Feather Airstrike will be used, Feather Execution at the same time. There's no way for Bento to run, no way for this Esmeralda to dance around, so has to fall. I think G4 and Stay Tuned, they're just mirroring each other. If you're gonna focus on my bottom side, I'm gonna focus on your top side, and they're doing a very good job because, well, Esmeralda, it's not say they don't really scale all the way to the late game, but the more important thing is, ooh, that Clint is not having a good time. The G4 Clint is constantly getting pressured. I think they really need to do a lane swap, and there you have it. You can see Blade walking towards the top side instead of the bottom side instead. And Mathilda needs to start babysitting this Clint. And now because, Bento is actually kind of behind, a little bit similar to, what what the Clint is doing. So I think they could still go in match and match, but there's also the range advantage that the Clint has. But if you notice how Tune just changes its tune right now, just going and haunt this poor little Beta Crusher for ages. Ganking at the bottom side now is stay tuned, and G4 is like, oh my goodness, how are they gonna handle this? But Blader is actually all the way bottom. Blessing on the Moon Goddess will be proc as well, trying to heal 4 members. But Reminiscent leading on the chain. Beta Crusher still looking very low. Will finally get taken down, but at the same time, bottom side, Lancelot will be able to finish off Creative, looking very low. Mountain Shocker will be used at the same time. Bell's slowly trying to chase. Bento using the ultimate to try to get close, but nothing will come out of there just for now. I like what G4 is doing against Stay Tuned. It's like they're doing everything very well. Okay, ultimate will be used as well. Thorn Rose used to great success as well. Will be able to dodge the big burst of ultimate. But my god, G4 is putting up a good fight against all MPL players in this community tournament. I think G4 identified that the Clint is constant. Beta Crusher is constantly getting pressured. They're starting to play around. They're starting to play around Beta Crusher already, because Blader, I think he's already got his money's worth. He can start to, hold on the lane for now, but, you got Creative and 2 in the bottom side. It's a 1 versus 2 matchup, always not the best. A nice knockup coming out. The Farsa player looking a little bit weak as well, get busted down, but Jay doesn't really have the damage right now, but here comes Reminiscent from the bottom side. Will be trying to slow down Blader. Blader dashes all the way out, gets burned a little bit, but will be able to get on all the way out. Thorn Rose going in, but Blessing of Moon Goddess makes sure that Bell stays alive and just pushes off the Reminiscent, pushes off the Lancelot for the time being. So good fights are happening all across the map. However, Stay Tuned still ahead in terms of the gold lead. I think it's all due to the fact that they have a turret lead, and with this turret lead, it's going to be pushed even further right now. Lancelot is actually doing great short work of Jay. Will be able to pick up a mega kill as well, and now the bounty will be up and high for him. But bottom side, you can see how Neptune manages to shove it all the way in. I feel like Stay Tuned right now, they should try to siege down the mid lane, but I think G4, okay, G4 will be able to take down the turtle for now. Beta Crusher looking at it very low, will be able to go for the retreat. Thorn Rose going in, try to juke, but 3 members on his heels though, will be able to finally take him down. The bounty gold will help Stay Tuned, but G4 is slowly catching up in terms of this gold lead because of that 1-for-1 trade, and also because of the turtle. Good plays from both of these two teams. G4 is making Stay Tuned look like they are facing a good, a strong tournament, and even Beta Crusher is having a lot of trouble in the early game, but now it's starting to slay to the mid game, and they're starting, and G4 will slowly pop off even harder. Now, that pickup of the Neptune is actually kind of good, but Blader, ooh, nice lockup punch right there. We'll be able to heal most of his health all the way back up. With the help of Mathilda, we'll be able to allow him to heal and sustain just a little bit. Jay coming in for the flank at the same time. Bento looking for more. Flash on the wrong side of the wall will get taken down as well. Bento jumps all the way in, will miss. That's Lancelot player going into iframes once again. This iframes will be the bane of Stay Tuned if they constantly just blow all their skills hoping to catch him, because this Lancelot player has been proven himself as an elusive one. Working with these iframes is definitely going to be very maddening for Stay Tuned to stay in line, but the mid lane has finally been cracked open by the side of G4. It's still okay. I think Stay Tuned notices this, they're just gonna start doing, rotations instead of trying to focus members all the way down. Bento got caught all the way out by 4 members. The numbers advantage working through, but oh balls, that is actually a very good pickoff coming in from the side of Stay Tuned. Unable to finish up the job though. G4's Farsa manages to get on away. I think that was a blind hurricane going in to that brush just to delay. But okay, Creative looking a bit low for now. We'll get a bit of a Thorn Rose in their face. Flash decides to open up the map. hits a wet skill on the face. Bladder going in. Nice knockout punch, hitting 2-3 members. The ultimate of Veil will not hit anything. Neptune going in, going down in fact, with the Nibiru's Passion. A 1-for-1 trade, but Bento coming in for the revenge, trying to burst down some members from the start of G4, but would not be able to catch anything because Beta Crusher is just landing down the covering fire against Stay Tuned. My god, Stay Tuned is not doing very well this time. Rotating towards the Lord, Stay Tuned as well. It's only a 3 versus 4 member. Barca does have the feather airstrike. He could come over in and snipe, but Stay Tuned will be able to take that down easily. Blader will be the one. Knockout punch landing on top of Reminiscent this time. He has to gouge all the way. The feather airstrike will land through. Will be able to finish him off. The jungler of Stay Tuned is down, but Blader will be able to walk on away. Bento as well, but boom! The Veil with the ultimate finally finishes off someone from the side of G4, being a little bit too blood hungry and thirsty, and they will pay for the price. 4 men for now, but Stay Tuned is still behind in terms of the manpower, in terms of the goalie. Both of these two teams are still too similar. The Lord still marching down in the favor of Stay Tuned right now. G4, they're slowly reaching their power spikes right now. Stay Tuned, in fact, the mid-game power spike is slowly should be able to finish off the job, but no clashes will happen for now because Stay Tuned is looking to sync up the waves. It's a 3-man musketeer versus a member of 5 coming off from G4. Stay Tuned cannot handshake these fights right now. Positioning of Jay must be careful, but if you take a look, Blader, he's actually laning in the way. He's just waiting for a perfect opportunity to strike, but he won't be able to find it because G4, they also take down the Lord that's actually going in. The feather airstrike right there will be able to land a few shots. Circling Eagle going in. The ultimate of the Veil will be able to secure the midfielder's death as well. Meta Crusher, unfortunately, will be able to live away. Stay Tuned, currently working on the turrets instead. Top side will be able to get taken down. Stay Tuned, focusing on the bottom side turret right now. Jay just not too sure where he's pathing. This is a very immobile mage, and he's actually first to burn the flicker at the same time. Well, these two teams, Stay Tuned, almost bare. G4 seems like they're dominant in terms of these team fights already. Blader has always found these crucial flanks. Bento tried to do so, but Bento is constantly out of position. Stay Tuned may find themselves in the back foot if they keep giving leads away over the G4. Don't forget, Beta Crusher, I feel like he's outputting a lot of damage. And don't forget, this Lancel is always finding crucial key targets to snipe all the way down. Farsight has been also doing a lot of great job trying to melt down the enemy, heroes from the side of Stay Tuned. And it is always the Lancelot goes in to finish the job. I like the synergy coming out from G4, and they look quite formidable. Stay Tuned, currently working on the turrets right now. They're not gonna fight them in team fights at all. They're just gonna look for weak point. They're gonna look for opportunities to try to sneak a turret or two back away. Just take a look at Bento. They're just not gonna handshake fakes right now. They're just trying to pull Bento. They're trying to use Bento as bait to pull the members of G4, but G4 is not falling for it. Flash. In fact, it's a 4-man at the bottom side. They will be able to take that turret all the way down. Mountain Shocker going in. The Veil will be able to explode that Farsa right onto the ground. That is a good pickoff coming out from Stay Tuned right now. G4 on full defense mode. They don't really have the artillery strike. There's only 20 seconds before you came all the way up. Stay Tuned need to make use of this opportunity to basically take down this turret and crack it open. 10 seconds left on that clock for that Farsa to come online. If Stay Tuned were to actually, if G4 were to hold on to this mid lane turret, and it feels like they are going to be able to do that, Stay Tuned may find himself in a very tough spot to be able to penetrate in terms of all of this defense. That pickoff by that pickoff of Farsa has costed G4, and Stay Tuned needs to find that and repeat that once again. But whether will the Farsa finds himself in an awkward position, that is the biggest question. Stay Tuned does have the vision advantage, and also, in fact, the goal to lead a little bit, but I wouldn't count on its goal lead because we've seen how G4 knows how to play around this. They know how to pick up crucial team fights, targeting one person at a time, and go all the way down. But oh no, Beta Crusher go down. With knockup coming out from the Veil from Jay, as well as the ultimate from Jay, will be able to finish the job. Now G4 immediately notices this, falls all the way back on full retreat, playing super passively already, and allowing Stay Tuned to take the Lord away, because initially you saw G4 setting it up very nicely, but Stay Tuned, because of that pick off, they take the Lord. Now this is going to be a tough uphill battle for G4, right? G4, they secured a very strong lead nearing the mid late game part of it. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the late game. Stay tuned. Who has the mid game power spike is starting to fall a little bit off. Jay ultimate must be crucial, must land onto at least someone to pick up from G4. If Jay's rotation of skills is unable to take someone down, that will be for naught, and that will be a huge waste right now. Big bombs coming down. Stay tuned, sieging all the way up, using the Beatrix bomb extended range to try to pick up. But Blader goes all the way in, will take some damage from his shot. Bento will jump all the way in with the ultimate. At the same time, G4 will lose what the bottom lane turret. They need to try to rotate. They need to try to look out for any form of, but oh no, the Veil actually busted down the Farsa, and now with the Luminous Lord charging all the way in, Stay Tuned desperately try to pick more up while the Lord is actually chasing all the way down. Look at G4 though, they're actually still hanging strong, they're rotating, but oh no, the Farsa actually went down, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, this is so close coming up from State G4, but Stay Tuned picks up game number 1. Oh, I wasn't expecting Stay Tuned to have so much trouble against G4. If you ask me, they have the experience, but G4, I think it's all because of how Jay positions. Jay was constantly hiding in the brush, just waiting for the ambush. Very patient gameplays. I feel like G4, they became less patient a lot as the game goes on by. They should have the lead, but G4 busted down. Once G4 busted down the Farsa, that's it. Don't forget, the past 2 team fights, it all goes into the favor of Stay Tuned. Stay Tuned was able to crack open defenses because the Farsa went down. Blader has also done wonderfully in actually trying to stall Stay Tuned from actually retreating or anything, and all those pickoffs from Lancelot have paid the price so well. I think Lancelot nearing the end doesn't really dare to try to assassinate this Veil because of the Estus that's constantly healing everyone. So GG, well played to both of these 2 teams. I feel like after game number 1, Stay Tuned will draft something that's more meta after this. I think the Veil is usable, is workable, but if you're fighting against a Lancelot, I think that's something that you wouldn't try to do. You're so immobile and you won't be able to move anywhere, and you really require the Estus to heal you, and hopefully the Lancelot doesn't bust you down. Now, G4, they were so close though. I think I feel like G4 has the better micro skills. They have the better, well, not say thumbs, but they have the better playstyle in terms of these team fights. Blader's positioning was good as well, but in terms of the macro game though, Stay Tuned was winning because, I would say in this particular game 1, it's solely because of the macro game. It's solely because they understand the map even better as compared to G4. And Stay Tuned is just like, in the early parts of the game, they stunted the growth of this Clint, and this Clint wasn't able to pop off like a very scary Clint that we used to know. And then, their Stay Tuned is just forever targeting this Clint. And I guess that's how you play against that Clint. You just try to limit all this gold that he's supposed to receive, and by the time when he hits late game, right, he doesn't hurt as much anymore. So you'll be able to do all of this. And don't forget, there's a lot of time where Stay Tuned just like, oh, I'm not gonna pick up a fight. I'm just gonna scare you a little bit with my ultimate, zone you away with my skills, and I'll leave Beatrix to just try to push down turrets one after another. However, at the very particular last team fight, if you notice G4, I think they got a little bit distracted because, the Lord is slowly marching down at the top side, but G4 was still trying to fight at the bottom. So there's a little bit of desync, in my opinion, coming out from this team. But it's because Stay Tuned not just say sync up the waves. I don't think they did. It's just I feel G4 was tunnel vision in onto Stay Tuned. They forced G4 to pick a side. Which one do you want to do? Do you want to fight the Lord at the top? Do you want to fight me at the bottom side? Man, this is a very tough game for G4, but G4 was comparable in terms of these micro plays. But let's hop into the draft once again. Stay tuned, banning over to Mia. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Your team is
I mean, if they are so ahead, if they think they're ahead, okay. Bandit Mia is fine, but Amon gets taken away. The Mathilda was also taken away by the side of Stay Tuned. I don't think Flash... Yeah, it's one of Flash heroes, so I think they've also identified that. So G4 will be taking away the Hayabusa as well. Estes should be snap picked by Creative because it's kind of good for their play style, I think. Yeah, so why don't create that? Or they could just first pick the Clint for themselves, because I think Stay Tuned may just forgo this Clint. They could make Beta Crusher not feel comfortable on that Clint once again. And I think this time round, G4, they're gonna snap pick. Yeah, they're gonna snap pick the Nathan, and then after that, maybe the Clint as well. This means that they're not. They're gonna allow the Piquito to leak through. I think G4 identifies that Stay Tuned knows how to play against this Clint, so they're just gonna stay out of it. But now it's Stay Tuned that picks up the Clint for themselves instead. That's interesting to note. But now, Cho. Alright, so Stay Tuned will pick up a Clint and a Cho. This Cho is definitely going to the side lanes. Cho Tank has fallen out in favor because of a recent change in terms of his skill set. He doesn't reset his skills anymore unless he hits someone. So that has to be forced to change his role into a fighter role. But you know, with this Cho being able to isolate someone and kick someone away, I think that is kind of good. But the Ruby will be picked up by the side of G4, and the Yuzhong getting banned away once again. It's going to be going back to them. I'm not surprised if they were to go back with either the Eve pick or the Farsa pick. I think they'll definitely have to go for the Farsa pick because Stay Tuned immediately bans away that Eve. The Krufra would be good, I would say, against Cho, but now because of this, they prioritize the Kufra. Stay Tuned could just go straight for, you know, I don't know, the Farsa if they want to play it, but I don't think that is Jay's MO. Stay Tuned can actually go in with, I would say, no, Grandeur kind of falls apart. I think if they really want to counterpick, they should counterpick with the Lancelot, but Reminiscent, I think he's more comfortable with the Ling and the Marksman meta or the White Test. I love this Loi though. This Loi will be very good, especially when you drag whenever you drag someone, whenever you try to follow up with an I'm offended or a jump, this Loi will be there to either zone you away or basically to disrupt the whole team fight. And I think that's what Stay Tuned wants to do. Now, the Roger will be picked up by G4. This feels like a classic showdown between the jungle cores, because don't forget this Lancelot he did very well, and now it's going into a Roger as well. So I think it's gotta be hype, man. This match is definitely worth putting a magnifying glass over, because these two teams, they're going at it very well, and I mean, this is very interesting. So ladies and gentlemen, on to the game we go. This is gonna be G4 in the red, Stay Tuned in the blue right now, and it's gonna be hot. Nathan will go into the mid lane. Okay, they're gonna forgo the Farsa at all. They're gonna put two strong fighters, and their whole job right now is to peel for this Nathan and peel for this Roger. Now Roger will requires, like I said before, it's more of a cleanup crew. You need to dish out the damage that's required in order for this Roger to pop up and chase people down. So with the Nathan to just chunk people down, if you land it correctly, should be able to do and make short work of Stay Tuned side of the drop. However, you put down a rotation and you put down dispersion as well, if the Roger decides to jump on in, they will get the duality proc. Banner Crusher walking all the way down as well, trying to help out. Jay is slowly encroaching too deep against G4, so very wise choice coming out. But I mean, if that's the case, Neptune should have at least one wave extra. You can see it from the gold lead, right? Because the fact that Banner Crusher walk all the way down to the mid lane, they're gonna get more gold as compared to Stay Tuned. Both these two teams not going to commit. I think G4, they really want to do whatever Stay Tuned did to them in game number 1. Focusing on the clean, that's basically what Stay Tuned did. Stay Tuned is going to deliver the medicine to the doctor. Instead, they're gonna give Stay Tuned a taste of their own medicine. In the meantime, focusing on the bottom side is Stay Tuned right now because the turtle is spawning at the bot. G4 just pathing around, not too sure what they're doing. I think they got the wrong memo that the turtle is actually spawning at the bottom side. Now, Flash, nice jump, will be able to knock up J for the time being. But G4, I think they're just wasting a little bit of time in especially how the Roger did, but Stay Tuned is already lying there in the wait. Nathan got busted down. I don't know why he's actually super low. Probably from the duality proc as well. So if Stay Tuned really wants to take this turtle, they need to take it now. Flash jumps away. G4 rotates all the way back. Stay Tuned doing the same, securing their purple buff for now. Cho leading them on a wild goose chase. I think it's not a lane swap. It's a Paquito versus a Cho. This is going to be a bit confusing, especially when they keep jumping around. But here we go. G4 actually focusing down on the bottom side. Bento, I believe. Oh, he tried to dash, but the knockout coming up for the bouncing ball is true. Bento going in. A bit of a show-off right there, but the bouncing shocker will be able to drop a bit of damage, but G4 manages to pick up Bento for his troubles. And trophy to be used in order to actually clear the turtle quicker. I think Stay Tuned never wanted the turtle at all. They're just going to focus on building the lead for Clint. They're just escorting them right now. If you notice how, Stay Tuned, they're focusing on the top side instead, making sure that not only just focusing on the top side, right? They also managed to steal orange buff away. But here we go. The stun coming out from Reminiscent as well. Roger could just jump all the way in. Like a pass will be used. Creative looking very low as well. No healing will be able to help him right now. Luoyi, I believe, not just Luoyi. Luoyi forced the flicker as well. Will be able to get out of dodge for the time being. Now G4 will be landing on that fight right now. Try to sneak all the way in. Will be able to find Nathan right underneath the turret as well. I think it's a flicker. Not say flicker. And Chofi blink coming out from our Nathan player as well. Stay Tuned aggressively using the ultimate of the Luoyi to get out of dodge and also to try to find any openings. Well, G4 still leading right now. G4 is leading in the gold lead because of those 3 kills pick off, right? But I think Bento going up against the Paquito is not very fun as a Cho in my opinion. But is that a yeah, I think this Bento is going semi-tank. If you notice, I think that's a magic burning helm that he's going to be building towards too. But here we go. But G4 members are slowly encroaching at the bottom side. Blader is cutting the wave. The wave of the dragon will be used at the same time. The low E is spreading the passive will be able to drag Blader all the way in as well. But here comes the members of Bento, knocking all team members all the way up. The Shunpo providing the CC immunity as well. Oh no, the Roger tried to focus down the J, but he's right underneath the turret. Aggro will fall because of how aggressive and greedy this G4 is. They threw away the lead. I'm offended drag, but not underneath turret. Blessing of Moon Goddess will constantly heal the members of G4 for the time. Stay tuned for the time being. Neptune giving all the shots right now. Ball forced to use the flicker at the same time. Neptune will follow suit. The second skill will miss, but at least they take down the turret right now. Beta Crusher will try to spin to try to heal, try to live steal away, hopefully to do an outplay. Unfortunately, Clint is just way too broken to be outplayed. Stay tuned, penetrates top side turret as well. G4 on full retreat, and also not to mention this Roger will get busted all the way down. The duality proc coming in from the side of this Luoyi though is just creating so much havoc in G4 side of the draft. They tried to team fight, they wouldn't be able to do anything because they can't even stick together. If not, they will literally stick together because of this duality proc. Stay tuned in tempo right now. They were playing from behind a little bit. Now they got the 3 kills, in fact 6 kills. After that, they should be feeling very happy about themselves and they could rotate straight to this turtle. Mountain Shocker reviews everyone once again. Roger's nowhere to be seen. This is a free turtle. Stay tuned, just identified that and just picked it up for themselves. Once again, no turrets have been taken down by the side of G4. I feel like if G4 really wants to do some form of economical damage, G4 needs to use this Nathan to try to burst, not say burst down, but try to take down turrets. Members of G4, 4 men at the bottom side. Duality will be used to try to get them out of dodge. Nathan, oh, he got busted all the way down. The Loi will go here to his death right now. We're going 1-on-1 against a Roger, but at the same time, happening at the... That is not supposed to happen, ladies and gentlemen. That is not supposed to happen. Oh my goodness. Yes, I was a little bit distracted because the Loi actually went all the way in, finds the Roger. The Roger couldn't even burst him down. This shows how behind a Roger is, and the Loi just, you know, sacrificed herself for that. I think that is way too worth it for Stay Tuned. Even though G4 was actually losing, that not say losing, but they're slightly okay in terms equal in that previous fight earlier just now, but oh no, Blader going in, knockout punch, trying to desperately heal, trying to get some life steal. Neptune, oh, the burst coming out from Clint, the I'm Offender hook doesn't really connect at the same time. Better Crusher finds himself in a very bad spot as well. Neptune, oh, Flash tried to jump, but he will cancel it. I don't think he really want to pull that trigger as well. Stay tuned. Oh, the flicker knockout coming back. The Whale Dragon will be able to activate on top of the Roger. As the meantime, Neptune just chases them down. Look at the range of this Clint that's outputting so much damage against G4. This is how, you know, Clint is supposed to be played. That's what Neptune says.
Red team turret has been destroyed.
Turret has been taken down one by one as well. G4 once again bleeding turrets as well. Bento, you know, the flicker knockup has been very crucial. Beta Crusher, if he needs to do something, he needs to try to hook this, and he has to hook it very well right now, but he doesn't have the I'm Offender. He's actually super low at the same time. The Loi burst coming in, as well as Stay Tuned. The damage from Clint, the members, all stars align, just lands on burst damage after burst damage, and don't forget, they've also got burst heal, so G4, they don't really have enough damage to actually fight this Estus at all. I feel like, you know, the lack of banning the Estus has already hurted them so much. In fact, for the past 2 games, Creative has been making sure all of this actually go into their way, especially with the Estus pick. Stay tuned, working on the top side turret right now. Reminiscent doesn't really want to fight at all. He's just gonna try to rotate Mountain Shocker to review everyone. Once again, just doesn't want to pick up fights. He's just got to focus on actually taking down these turrets. The Loi J at this same time should be dishing out so much damage, especially with the duality prop. And G4 has to be careful. That was a very good I'm Offender. The flicker I'm Offender was so available, but I'm not too sure why Battle Crusher doesn't really want to pull that off. He's constantly getting bursted all the way backwards. He can't really commit to anything because he's scared of actually losing his life. And now because they're so scared to actually commit, G4, they're forced to defend under turret. And this time around, they don't really have a faster, they don't really have a long range artillery strike to have the high ground to defend. They only got the Nathan, but I think if G4 really want to make this play, they need to make sure that Stay Tuned overextends a little bit, allow Flash to land the money shot with the ultimate, and that's how, you know, G4 should come back from. Stay Tuned. Slow, like I said, is the one that's gaining tempo, is the one gaining momentum right now. They're in the lead, they're unfazed. Even if, you know, they're behind, it feels like they've been there before on the higher stakes play, but that's okay. 4-man right now. Mid lane, the contest point for both of these two teams. Jake could just zone every single member all the way out with just one rotation. The Lord just tries and cleave, helps Stay Tuned in the fight as well. G4 slowly melted down like flies. No one to basically peel anymore. And don't forget, Stay Tuned is basically Creative is the portable fountain as well. Jay decides to fight right there, right underneath. Not too sure what he's trying to accomplish, but he's trying to just delay G4 from actually coming out. Stay Tuned using the minions. They're just trying to focus on that core, and GG going over the Stay Tuned, picking up game number 2.
Victory!
that was actually all the time. G4 almost stand a chance, and it's always through sheer patience that Stay 2 won the game. GG well played both of these two teams. They played out of their minds on themselves, especially Blader. I would say even, I think the Nathan pick was a little bit awkward. I think they could have gone for the Farsa pick, but I feel like once you got shut down by the Farsa, once you got shut down by your own comfort pick, you already feel uncomfortable by it already. And if you notice, it's like what I mentioned, look at Jay's damage and look at Neptune's damage. So much damage, to the point that, you know, Jay, guys, when was the day that you guys heard a Loi 1v1 a Roger and the Roger lost? There's no sustained damage coming out from this Loi, yet the Loi, I believe, fought right underneath the rotation, and I think the Roger got ahead of himself, right, and just tried to pounce on top of this Loi, tried to kill him off, but you know, all Jay has to do is ring around roses, and slowly but surely the passive should do its trick and takes him all the way down. And don't forget, it's also Stay Tuned that decides to protect the top side. I feel like, top side in terms of Neptune, and protect so that the Clint can scale. And also another point that I need to point out is I feel like a lot of these MPL players, they're starting to identify the Estes as being one of the meta picks, because have you guys seen, it's so hard, even though you see, like, look, take a look at the Nathan, 26,000 damage, right? Shouldn't, still unable to kill off anyone, because you remember what I mentioned, the Roger requires the burst damage of the Nathan in order to pop and go in with the cleanup, but there is no way you could clean up if creative is that movable mountain, is that portable fountain to just, you know, constantly heal all of this damage when it's ready. So it's really tough for G4 to basically do anything at all, and I would say it's all because of this Estes. This Estes has got to go. And if you notice, sometimes these teams, if they really want to go ahead and try to fight, you know, try to fight them head on, I think they really need to ban the Estes as well. And sometimes if you notice, these teams, especially these MPL players, right, they also prioritize the ban on the Estes as well. I feel like this is going to be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because we may have something for you. We're showing you the brackets for now. Of course, G4 will have to go all the way down. And you know, when I saw, you know, Stay Tuned all the way up top, I was like, I thought Stay Tuned is like, oh, please stay tuned, we'll tell you more about it. But no, Stay Tuned is the team, and they're all the way up to the grand finals already, looking very